This is my first Claw robot. Provides the basic functionality of a normal robot to give you control. It's a keyboard script over Wi-Fi, so it's very basic. There's a wrist to give you some movement, and the claw grasps and opens, and that's really basically it. There's not too much in terms of fanciness or complication. It's just really more of a lesson in mechanics for me. That yellow clamp on the back is for a counterweight, because when you grab things that have weight to them, obviously you'll nosedive, especially with this very prototyped early stage design. So a lot of it is just getting used to the keyboard and trying to really grasp things and the accuracy to it. It's pretty difficult. See, there's not much grip on that. That's a metal case, so the claw loses its traction. Gotta be careful with that. When it's crisp like that, you kind of have an option of moving the actual robot to see if you can stand it upright. It doesn't look like it's going to work in our case. Oh, there we go. And then you move that object. It's pretty hard to get used to the keyboard, but I'm not. Maybe if you're a gamer, I don't play games, so I'm not used to these kind of controls. I've got an Explorer. I don't know if you've seen that video, but I'd like to hook that one up next for interfacing, just to give a little bit easier feedback. A USB joystick is a good possibility too. Oh, that one fell. But you get the idea. It's just very, very simple. Nothing too complicated. Just a good demonstration for claws, and hopefully a whole arm in the future would be nice. If I can figure that out. You'll see there'll be a left turning tendency just because that counterweight is there. There should be the same exact weight on both sides to distribute when you go forward and backward, but obviously I don't have one right now. But other than that, it's a fun little toy. This SparkFun claw is the first version of this claw, which came out a few years ago. I actually didn't know I had it. I forgot I ordered it, found it in the parts bin. So that was a lot of fun to find that and say, oh well, let's do something with this. There's a redesigned one on the SparkFun website, which is pretty nice. I have to give it a try. It's also running on the Magician chassis from SparkFun. It's a nice little robot platform, very agreeable price in my opinion. DC motors. On the bottom's USB battery pack that powers the Raspberry Pi computer. 5 volt, 1 amp output, 5200 milliamp total capacity. Underneath, it's kind of hard to see, is a DC step down power system that I got from China. That steps down the voltage from these Trust Fire cells, lithium ions, 3.7 volts each. This model's 3000 milliamp hour batteries. It's the 18650 size, so if you notice, they're bigger than USA size batteries, so you have to get the case too with it. You don't want to forget that. This powers the main drive motors and the 2 servos for the claw all by itself. A lot of amperage for that, so I'm sure there'd be a lot of runtime, especially for the Raspberry Pi computer. The 5200 milliamp hour battery gives it some pretty good, 4 hours around there duration of runtime. And here you can kind of see the setup. It's very much prototype still, as you can tell. The Raspberry Pi, it's got a Wi-Fi USB adapter, which is hidden by the GPIO cable. The EDMAX one, ULN 11, I think, the most popular Edimax one. It's got the T-cobbler breakout board from Adafruit to access all the GPIO pins a lot in an easier fashion. I actually use it a lot because I have a lot of the male-to-male jumper wires, but my male-to-females to go right to the GPIO header, they're starting to run low, so that's a great reason to use the T-cobbler besides the ease of access, because I'm running out of bedroom real estate, I'm sure you can see. And this chip in the front is the motor driver for the two-wheeled motors. It's just the SN754410 chip, very basic, it's very common. Other than that, there's nothing really too much to it. A normal standard servo for the wrist, and a mini-size servo for the actual claw that's SparkFun sized with this actual claw itself. It's pot metal. I've had some issues with this claw. It took me a long time to get it to work right. I think that's one reason why they designed it differently for the second revision, because it's pot metal and the gearing, it's very iffy. The servo does not fit in here very well at all. I've spent hours trying to tweak and calibrate it. This is not the farthest it can open. It can actually open farther with the gears, but the servo just doesn't have the strength. There's too much tension and there's too much pushing of these actual claws, the gears on the claw. It's finicky, but it's nice because it was super cheap. I believe it was only like $10 or something. So there's definitely room for improvement, but this is my first attempt at a claw. So I was excited to get the build complete and just see it working a little bit. So if you have any other details or questions on the details or anything like that, let me know in the comments. Try to get back to you. As always, thanks for watching. Like the video, share it with your friends if you like it, and we'll see you again soon.